All right, that's enough from me. Now we got a great panel, and we're very happy that you are here. We have Jerry McGowan and Claudia Koch and Sharon Vogel and Joe Condon. Jerry, why don't you begin it?
Well, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say. The other thing, there's two things. Is first of all, it's a pleasure being here with Senator and J D, and I know J D, and I follow Senator Sanders because he's one of my heroes. The other thing is this gentleman next to me, he talked about how nervous we was when we get up here. And I said, don't worry, Joe. If they ask me a question I can't answer, I'm going to turn it over to you. and he tried to leave at that time. I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Texas, if you hadn't figured that out by listening to me. And I worked for a company for 40 years, which was oil and gas, chemical consortium, and paid into Social Security and Medicare the whole time. And then I retired in 2000, and I came up here because my wife is from up here, and I said, well, I'm not going to do anything because, I've worked a long time, I'm tired. And I sat down at the table for about 3 weeks, and I was so bored, I told my wife, I said, I got to get another job because if I don't, you and I are going to get in a fist fight right here in the kitchen. So I opened up a car lot, and they had calculated my pension, said, Jerry, you worked 4 years, and here's your pension, no more Social Security payment. And opened up a car lot, and I found out that was wrong. So I had to pay Social Security again, which is okay. Until I found out that in my car lot, I was the owner and the employee. So I paid, both sides of that, which is okay. And then when that went away, we did the same thing again. I'm sitting around the house. What are we going to do? And I started driving a Midas school bus, which, by the way, was great. The Social Security that we have, my wife and I have, has helped us. We would not have made it without Social Security. I had heart surgery 2 years ago, and it paid. I'm sorry. It paid for everything, and luckily I had a supplemental policy that paid the other part. So I had a major surgery, heart surgery, and between the 80% that Social Security paid and the supplement, my cost was. So we got to have it. The other thing I want to say is all everybody in here know that you're going to get a raise here in January, right, on your Social Security? And you had one in 4 or 5 years, but isn't that right? But we're going to get a raise, and it's going to be 2.8%. Now, to put that in perspective, if your monthly Social Security payment is $800, that's $20 a month. So that's not even enough to fill your car up with gas. And when I heard that, the same day on the news, I heard of this lady saying that she is so perplexed because she's got to work 2 jobs because her husband, as a politician, only makes $174,000 a year, and she can't afford another house. And I'm saying, what is wrong with this picture? And I know that Social Security can't pay at the level that people make, but you got to have it, and you can't get it repealed. We got to have it. If everybody in this room, in some form or another, if you don't have it, you're in trouble. And I made a real good salary for 40 years, but I had to have it. So I want to just say that I appreciate Bernie and J D, and we've got to have help. We've got to keep this going. And the other thing that I don't understand is he mentioned, Senator Sanders mentioned dental care and hearing aids and all that. There is if you look at the economics of that, what happens when your teeth get bad? You get other diseases, right? So that's actually a cost cut. If you pay for the teeth, you won't have the infections and the stuff that you do. Okay. And hearing aids, I don't know if anybody's priced any hearing aids, but they're around $6,000. Got a subject right over here. $6,000. It's got a microchip in it that's probably 27 cents when it's performed. Okay. And then I'm taking too much time, but I wanted to just say that when I heard Bowser was here, I looked all over the parking lot, tried to find that Fit for Six Oldsmobile that he put up on. Which, by the way, in 1956, you know when you did the ad, 1956, that car was $2,500. Anybody in here buy a new car for? It's hard to buy one for $25,000 now, right? So anyway, I've had a good life, and I appreciate it, and thank you.
See if this one works. Yeah, that one works. This one. Okay, when JD said that he had to get uncomfortable, I'm getting uncomfortable for you. Okay? My name is Claudia Cook. I live in Fort Dodge. And yes, I'm happily retired. And to be able to be happily retired, obviously, takes money. And so I'm very fortunate. I've been a teacher for almost 40 years in 2 different states. And so I have a pension from IPERS, which we need to take care of. I also have a pension from Illinois, which every time I get an email from them, I think, uh-oh, here it goes. But between that and my Social Security, I have a reasonable pension that keeps me going fairly well. I've been fairly healthy, so I haven't had to use too much. I haven't had any terrible experiences with Medicaid, with Medicare, and in fact, it's quite good. We do have a supplement, and the supplement helps tremendously, but they are going up and up, as many of you may know. And so that's a concern I have. The other thing is, and it was been talked about, is number 1, vision is not included. I have the beginning of macular degeneration, so that may be my big expense through life, and right now, not much covers that. My husband says I have poor hearing. I think it's selective. But to be honest, I've thought about going to get hearing aids to see if that would help, and then I look at the price tag. And I know it all comes out of my pocket. And, you know, so he can yell a little louder. I have, as far as pharmaceuticals, I take several drugs. The costs are pretty high. I have one medicine that I have that literally out of pocket for me is $60. And I went to the pharmacist and I said, is this not covered? Is there some problem here? She goes, no, it costs $300. It's just a little tube. I looked to see if the screw cap was made of gold, but it's not. So, I mean, there are some real difficulties we're facing, and I really think that we need to get JD in office so that we can make some changes here, because everybody here should have a good life, including their senior years. So that's what I have to tell you.
Hello, my name is Sharon Vogel. I'm I am not drawing Social Security yet because I own my own business. And thank God it's doing well. And so I don't see a reason why Social Security should write me checks just so I can write them back a check to pay it back when they tell me that I can only earn X number of dollars. So when I turned 70, by the way, the criteria for sitting at the table was you have to be 65. And so I'm a few years past that, but I'm not 70 yet. And so when I get there, I will draw my Social Security, and hopefully I'll still be able to work. I am hard of hearing. I do have hearing aids in both ears, and they cost a lot of money. Mine have lasted, thank God, for over 3 years, but I feel like that when I go back, the initial price of $2,500 per ear will probably be a lot more the second time around. So I'm not looking forward to that. I have a real problem with prescription drugs because I know that we just recently have passed a law that allows pharmacists to tell you when the drug price is lower than your copay on your Social Security, on your Medicare drug plan. And so a drug that you could pay $2 for, $4 for, the drug plan that you use, which I feel is being run by the pharmaceuticals and the insurance company, they're charging you more. They're charging Medicare more for those drugs. This past year, I take a medication that the insurance company decided they don't want to cover anymore. And so they said, well, you can take this one, or this one, but you can't take the one that you're taking now. So my doctor and I, we worked out. I said, okay, fine, I'll try it. I tried one of the three. I took it for 14 days, and it was horrible. And so the doctor makes notation in your chart and sends that notation back to Medicare to see if then I can take my drug of choice. They said, no, you need to try one of the other two. And so we try another drug for 14 days, which has a lot of side effects for me. And then he makes another notation in the chart. And yes, they finally allow me to take the drug that I've always been taking for probably the last 7-8 years. I know that my father-in-law, who had a heart condition, he hit the donut hole in the medication about May, where he had to pay for his own drugs. Fortunately, I don't take that many drugs, and so I just hit my donut hole here in October. But it's very difficult to come up with the extra dollars every month that seem to come, and that doesn't even take care of the everyday little emergencies that happen, the battery that dies, the new brake job, shopping for a new used car. I mean, all of those things are life, and they happen. And so we have to scurry to pool together the money to make it work for us. And I know that's a story that happens with every one of you that are sitting out there. So thank you very much.
Let me thank our panelists. I've heard more honesty and more. Oh, I'm sorry.
He was hoping you'd miss it anyway.
That's for last. I thought I made it, but I guess I didn't. My name is Joe Condon, and my wife Diane and I have, we've got 5 sons. Not closer. Ooh. We have 5 sons and 8 grandchildren and 1 granddaughter out of that 8, but we've got another one coming in March, so maybe another girl. I want to just touch on what Bernie had brought out real explicitly, that the medical cost, I take one prescription for my diabetes, and it's Toshiba, and it's a good product, does well. And the first time it was filled, I asked the doctor just to do it for 1 month as so he could see where I would be. In the first month, it was $22.63. And since it worked good, why we went to the 3 months. And when I went to pay for that, my copay was $256, which equates to $86. And then for some reason, I went back to the monthly, and it was $60 until just yesterday or 2 days ago, I refilled it again, and it went to $173.17 for 1 month. So it's gone up 3 times in less than a year. And I think we just need to address this, like the senator says, and we need to straighten these pharmaceutical companies out. And then, and another sidebar is I have a grandson who has the peanut allergy, and his son has good insurance, but that went from like, it's $600 now, and he has to have a set at home and a set at school, and that's just unbearable for that to do. It would be like someone with me with, if I had to have that, you just couldn't do it. And the co-pays like that are just gone way out of hand here. And I'll just end with this. My son reminded me a vote for R is for reverse, and a vote for D is for drive.
Did everybody speak? Yes. All right. Joe, I'm sorry. And I'm so happy that Joe said what he did. Because what he said basically is we are the only country on earth where the drug companies can charge any price they want for any reason. There's not a rationale for it. It's just they can get it. So you walk into the pharmacy tomorrow, price could be twice as high for no reason other than these guys want to make billions more in profit. Let me just conclude before we bring up John again to end the discussion. By picking up on the point that JD made when he began. I happen not to believe that there's going to be this great blue wave. I happen to believe that on election night, which party controls the U.S. House will come down to a very few seats, and one of those seats could be the 4th congressional district here in Iowa. So as JD said, what we have to do in the next 2 weeks is work really, really hard. And that means not only come out and vote, but make sure that our friends and family and coworkers come out to vote for a whole lot of reasons. This election, in fact, is the most important midterm election in the modern history of this country. That is really what it is. So if you love this country, let's come out and vote. Let's elect JD as the next congressman from the district.